Hey, good morning, Facebook. I'll give a minute for some folks to join. I have about 8:40 a.m. Eastern. Some of you guys on California time, Canada time, PST, you're not even up yet. It's probably 5:30 a.m. for you. But I just wanted to go live this morning and talk what's really been stirring on my heart about the crab in the bucket. And then of course, there's some more behind the crab in the bucket. But it's really about what's holding you back from your dreams. Hey, good morning. If you're joining, you can drop a comment and say hi. I'm Kebie, and I'm excited to share with you this morning. I just want to take 15 minutes to talk about my experience of the crab in the bucket. So that story, if you want to go look it up, you can go Google it or whatever. It's about when you put crabs in a bucket, one will always try to get out. So they start climbing to the top. And then the other ones start pulling it down. It's like, oh no, don't escape. There's a big world. You might get hurt. Okay, so the crab in the bucket theory for me is that when I try to step out of the box and do something different, and whatever that is for you, for me, I'm a business coach, so I always talk about starting a business, getting yourself out there, earning income, doing something different, going against the grain, but it can really relate to anything, okay? So for example, I wrote a book, and I've learned over the years to avoid the crab in the bucket, I go do it instead of talk about it. So many times we go tell our ideas, tell our stories before we go do it, right? And when we go talk is cheap. Right? Talk is cheap. So what happens is our family and friends, because they love us, this is no hit on family and friends. This is human nature. This is programming. This is the way we're raised, and it's passed down generation. So it's 98% of us, okay? All of us have the crab in the bucket theory. We do it to our own children. We do it to our grandchildren. It's been done to us, even though we know better. Like we want our children to go blossom. We want them to go out. We want them to go do big things. But we're scared for them. We're scared they may get hurt. We're scared they may get rejected. We're scared for them. And that's the crab in the bucket. So the crabs in the bucket are your family, your friends saying, no, Kebie, don't go write a book. Oh my gosh, what if you fail? What if nobody buys it? What if? And they think of all these negatives because they don't want you hurt. They don't want you embarrassed. They don't want you rejected. They don't want you to fail, right? That's in anything, whether it's business, your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. If you go against the grain and you go this way when everybody else is going this way, you're going to have people pulling you down. So the crab in the bucket is a way that I relate to family and friends who are doing it out of love. They truly care about you. So we've got to learn not to take it personal, that it's their issues. This is the hard part, okay? So when I went to write a book and I told a few people and they started pulling me back in the bucket, I'm like, watch me. Now I've proven to my family and my inner friends that if you ask them, I do what I say I'm going to do. So I don't have the crab in a bucket anymore. If I went to my dad and I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go do this, he would say, go do it. But I've proved to him that even if I fail, even if I'm rejected, I don't care because I've proven that. But when I got started in business 8 years ago and I said, Dad, I found something, I'm excited, I'm going to go do it, he was like, oh, dear Jesus, please help us. I mean, you thought he'd have had a stroke, and only because he loves me. He cares for me. He didn't want me to get hurt. And now my dad would tell you, and he tells me, so glad you didn't listen to me. I'm so glad you didn't listen to me, and you went and did it. This programming affects all of us. We are all guilty. This is not just my dad. I catch myself doing it with my children. Mommy, I want to go do this. Go do it. But what do? Well, you're too young, or don't get your hopes up. That's dreams too big. Well, you gotta work hard. Well, you gotta. How about let's get a game plan, go do it, right? Because we're all guilty of the crabs in a bucket. Now, because I have just a couple more minutes, I want to talk about the real critics, okay? The real critics who aren't out of love. So this gets real deep and I'd have to talk for hours on it, but understand you have people in your life that are not part of your vision. It does not make them bad people. They're not evil. They're just not part of your vision. They're actually there to distract you from your mission. So I write about this in my book. It's actually, let me find the chapter here. Chapter 4, Connecting with the Right People. That is so important that your circle is what causes explosion. So for me now, if I have a new business and I go to a friend and I say, hey, you want in? You want to lock arms? And they're like, oh no, that's the. I'm like, I get a Sharpie marker. Have y'all ever seen Sharpies? X. Not because they're bad people, not because I don't like them. I can love them. I can be their friend, but they're not business for me. They're not part of my vision. Then I could go to another person and say, hey, I have this. You want to do this with me? You want to lock arms? They're like, I'm all in. They're part of the vision. But what do? We sit back. We analyze the rejection. Oh, God, it must be me. It must be my business. No, I can't do this. No, it's not that. It's their problem. They're thinking internally, what if I can't do that? Well, I can't sell. Well, I don't know people. And oh my God, what if somebody told me no? Oh my gosh, it's the crab in the bucket. They're being their own crab in the bucket. They're actually the crab that stays inside. They're not going first. You're looking for people in your circle that will climb out of that bucket with you. They'll look at you and say, I'm not staying here. There's a big world out here. I'm going to go take it on. So you got to be careful who you let in. You got to be careful what you're letting in your mind, because you can do bigger things. You're called for greatness. Now, I'm a business coach. I talk about earning money, earning extra income. Everybody can have better, be more, have more. They can do whatever they want to do in their heart's desire. I believe that. It takes money to do that, by the way. It takes money. You want to give more, you got to have more, okay? So I'm a business coach. If I were coming at you from a health coach perspective, I would be the same way. You want better health, you want to lose weight, you want to feel better, you can have it. We can have everything on earth we want, but there is a huge process to go through. And I'm still on my journey. There's nobody that has the massive success they want. In fact, a very successful person who has mastered things will tell you they're still a student. They're still a student learning. There is a lot to learn. There's skill sets. There's programming we have to break. That's the biggest thing. The programming, the rejection, the judgment, the stuff that's been spoken over us all our lives. I'm 41. I've had things spoken over me all my life. So if you take 35 years of stuff, just this is my stinking thinking, this is my raising, this is the programming from the media, this is the programming from the peers, my peers. It takes a really thick-skinned, tough person to continue this way and keep climbing out the bucket. And it's not that I'm tougher, it's that I invested in myself. I invested in myself. I found people doing it and I locked arms. And even if it costed me to join them, even if I had to pay a price monetarily, even if I had to pay a price in time, I did it. Because again, you want that circle and what's coming in to be the people that lock arms and climb out of that bucket with you. You don't want the circle of influence to be the ones pulling you back in. So some of you guys are dropping comments. Thank you this morning for tuning in, and thank you. If you watch the replay, do hashtag replay so you can watch this, but I'm gonna keep it short. My book is called Breaking Free. It is on Amazon. This video really wasn't to push my book or anything like that. You can actually read it for free on Amazon. You can read the first chapter and introduction for free. But I wanna just talk real quick about chapter 5, which is forgiveness. And by the way, I have a couple inner circle clients this morning. Super excited. By the way, I coach coaches. I also coach in network marketing and business sales, but mostly it's coach the coach. It's coach the trainer. And so I have a couple clients this morning, and every one of them go through my book with me. at one point of their coaching experience, we bring a book and we talk about it. It's kind of like a book club. Every 4 weeks we're cycling a new book, and we're always learning. There's a process we must go through to get the finish line. If we were wanting to lose weight, we'd have to have a plan. We'd have to take massive action. And the person we become at the end of the journey is a different person than the one that was overweight or the one that was unhealthy. Understand that person's different. When you go to earn income, I'm a business coach. When you go to earn income and you're earning $500 a month, you're different than the person earning nothing a month. Okay? When you go and earn $5,000 a month, you're a different person than the one that was making $1,000 a month. The reason you're not earning the income you want right now is because of your mindset. That's it. It's all mindset. So, I am in massive momentum, and I'm so grateful for the process and so grateful for the investment and the open-mindedness I have of investing. And I'm so grateful for my mentors and people who have locked arms with me and believed in me. But I'm not where I want to be. I am not. I see huge things that I'm going to be doing in my life so that I can give back. And the things that I want to do for non-for-profit, and the things that I want to do in foster care and orphan children. I know where I'm going. So that's the other thing, knowing where you're going, but going back to forgiveness. The reason that I put all my coaching clients through my book is because I was spiritually prompted to write this book. I feel like this wasn't even me writing. It was a prompting. It was really a spiritual guidance here. But forgiveness is the number one thing that will hold people back. And it's about forgiving yourself and others. And if you cannot master that skill, you will not go to the next level. And that includes even help. There are so many people living with all these diseases and diagnoses. These doctors are labeling fibromyalgia. I believe in pain. I know it's there. I know these things exist. I know a lot of doctors, that talk to me personally, very transparent, and these drugs are making things worse. Most of people's pain and problems internally like that are from bitterness. You can go pull that up on Mayo Clinic, mayoclinic.educate. I think it's mayo.edu. The Mayo Clinic has ran studies, PubMed have run studies that will prove to you that bitterness and unforgiveness will cause pain and arthritis. The more that we are ungrateful, the more it affects our health, it affects our finances, it affects our spiritual life, it affects our walk on earth. This is huge. If you don't take anything else from this video, I hope you learn the skill of forgiveness. And if you want to get my book, I give you the tools to learn and overcome forgiving yourself and forgiving other people. It starts with forgiveness of others. And that means anybody we can forgive. But what people don't understand about forgiveness, because we're programmed, we're taught, even in our own churches, we're taught from family that forgiveness means you have to go back. You have to stay in the relationship. That is not true. Forgiveness means releasing, that you feel empathy for that person. Because, by the way, the abuser, the neglector, the one that hurts you, that's their problems. That's their programming. Chances are they're treated that way. They've been treated that way. They've not broke things off of themselves. So when you have that forgiveness, you can truly sit back and be humble and cry for them, because you know how they feel. You know how that person feels, right? And I know the title of this is The Crab in the Bucket, but it all relates. Listen, you know how they feel because you've been treated that way. And you feel empathy and you feel sorry for them because they're being treated that way. That's true forgiveness, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're a doormat. It doesn't mean you go back for more and you get abused more and more. That's not the definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is releasing in yourself, feeling empathy for that person, and moving on. Even if you never speak to them, because you know what? They got their own forgiveness issues that they need to work out. But let me just tell you, God never meant for us to be a doormat. Even Jesus left his hometown because he knows the circle of influence is so important. The best success book ever written is the Bible. If you can get into the Word and start reading it from page 1 to the end, You will learn everything you need to do to go master any skill you need on earth, whether it's a health goal, a financial goal, a spiritual goal, a mindset goal. Anything you want on earth you can have. God said it. But we have a lot of work to do to get it. He doesn't just give it to us. We have a lot of work to do. You got to be a different person, be more. You got to be better. You got to want it, and then you got to hustle. So let me just close with the crab in the bucket. Listen, the crab in the bucket is your circle of influence. It is so important that you look around yourself and see who's feeding you. And that includes television, by the way. Just take a log if you watch TV today. Happy Father's Day, by the way. A lot of people be chilling by the TV or by the pool or whatever. Make a mental log and write down what's coming into your mind today. Who's talking to you? Who's feeding you? What are you watching? What are you hearing? That's going to be your life tomorrow. So if you sit around watching TV and you watch drug commercials, food commercials, some war movie, what are you inviting in your life? What are you, television is called programming for a reason. It truly is programming, okay? Who's talking to you by the pool today? Is it somebody encouraging you, or is it somebody pulling you out of the bucket? Listen, this stuff is important. You got to watch who your circle of influence is. Who are you hanging with? And I'm not telling you that you don't hang out with family, but you got to learn to block that stuff. If family is feeding you negatives, you got to walk off and say, look, Aunt Rosa, I'll sit here and talk to you and you can be positive, but I don't want to hear that negativity. You got to step up and take control of what's coming into your brain housing, right? Because the more negative coming in is going to be what you experience tomorrow. And this is what I write in my book. This is one of my quotes. If you want to know what tomorrow will be, just play the tape recorder of today, because that'll be your tomorrow. Everything you said, everything you listened to, everything that came into your mind will be your tomorrow. So with that, be blessed. Happy Father's Day to you guys, and I hope that this video provided some value. Hey, Daryl, you'll have to catch the replay. I'll see you soon by the pool. By the way, Daryl will be in my influence today. Daryl will be sitting around the pool with me because he will be the crab that comes out of the bucket with me. We lock arms and we get out of the bucket together, and we feed each other good things and positive things, and we're not holding each other back. We're pushing each other out of the bucket. Let's go. Let's get out of this bucket. Let's lock arms, right? Watch who you're hanging with. It's important. Your circle of influence is so important. If it wasn't important, Jesus wouldn't have told us about it. But he left areas and he got away from people, even his own disciples. He said, I can't have you near me right now. You have too much doubt. I cannot get away from me. You have too much doubt. He left his hometown because people saw him as the kid he was. Listen, that's what's happening, okay? That's what's happening to you. You're letting it come in, and you're listening to people who are uneducated on the story. They're ignorant to what you're doing. You need to find a mentor, find a trainer who's done what you want, and then go mimic them and watch them and go through that process. With that, blessings. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you guys. I'll go live with Daryl today by the pool. We'll give you guys some good stuff. So we'll see you. Bye.